I overlooked a neighborhood in Virginia Beach that I shouldn't have. This neighborhood checks so many boxes, and I think the reason why I overlooked it is because of where it is. But because of where it is, it's one of the things that makes it the most in demand. This neighborhood has a wide variety of sizes of houses. It has a very secluded feel to it. They're relatively new houses or more contemporary houses. It's in an area that has in-demand school districts. It has access to shopping. It has so much, but it also feels like it's in a more secluded, relaxed, country vibe to it. It's a unique combination of suburban and country. This neighborhood is called Hillcrest Farms. I'll talk to you about why I overlooked it, the reason why I think it's actually a very great value, one of the best in the city, the houses themselves, what the prices are like, also the feel of the neighborhood, the area around it, the school district, but also there are some specific things that specific to Hillcrest Farms that are changing in the area around it that I think could maybe impact it to the negative, but also impact it to the positive. I'm gonna give you some pros and cons, some drawbacks here that I think that might be worth considering. But first, I'm gonna show you about where Hillcrest Farms is. So if you look on the map, you're zooming out, there's Virginia Beach on the eastern side of the Hampton Roads area in the south side. Zooming down, Hillcrest Farms is in the south central portion of Virginia Beach. And if you look on the map, you see where Indian River Road is and Elbow Road. This connects all the way through to Chesapeake, which is a nice cut through. But if you keep going, just next to that is the continuation of Indian River Road. This area right here, this is Hillcrest Farms. But this neighborhood, Hillcrest Farms, this kind of has a dichotomy where you got country feel, you got people that want to be in the country. This is the edge where it's like, hey, it almost doesn't feel like it, but it's close because you're in an area that you can, if you look around you, you'll see a lot of countryside and a lot of fields. But you're so close to suburban areas where as soon as you drive away from Hillcrest Farms, you're right into suburban areas and it's all neighborhoods. And as you keep driving, you get more into traffic in closer into 64 interstate systems and 264, 64 and all that. So it's very easy to go from Hillcrest Farms country to Hillcrest Farms suburbia. So you have both the suburban and the country feel kind of combined at the same point. So either of those could be a positive or negative based on how you perceive or what kind of area you want to live in. Now let's look at the neighborhood itself. So Hillcrest Farms has just over 300 houses in it. Most of them are 4 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms. They range anywhere from 2,200 square feet mostly up into the 35 to 4,000 square foot range, which is one of the benefits here. You have a wide variety of sizes. Now, most of them are 4 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms, so very rarely will you see a 3 bedroom around there. But 4 or 5 bedrooms, you get a lot of size, but you have some more contemporary style floor plans. The more like the higher archways as you walk into the house. You got the frog with the big kind of the picture window over that garage area, that big 4th or 5th bedroom that feels kind of unique to the size of the rest of the bedrooms. But this neighborhood is great. This neighborhood has an HOA. It's just over $40 a month, but it doesn't cover too much. But it has the Hillcrest Farms Park in the neighborhood, which is fantastic. It also has a big common area as you drive into the neighborhood, kind of a big traffic circle, but a big green space, like a free, like one of those free library spots in the middle of the big common area also. So it's a nice big kind of a welcoming entranceway as you drive in, like walkways around the big area, but also in the park too. So having that Hillcrest Farm Park is a big deal, as well as you have multiple lakes in the neighborhood too. So you have some houses on the lakes, some off the lakes, which can affect pricing too. These houses were built in the mid to late 90s, 95 mostly going into the 98, 99, into 2000 in some spots too. So that mid to late 90s, you'll see most of these houses built. So you have that type of floor plan, those types of newer configurations or floor plans that feel more contemporary, more open, as opposed to more like in the 80s and 70s where you're starting to see, newer floor plans, but it still has more of a boxier feel. You're starting to see less of that in the 90s, and you're starting to see less of that, especially in a place like Hillcrest Farms. And I think you even find a nice balance of yard space. You're not super separated from your neighbors, which if you want a country feel, this might not feel as country in the neighborhood because of that, because you have a lot more houses that are closer together, but they're not so close that it feels cramped like that either. So I think you have a nice balance, again, for the price, which is you'll find them in the upper 500 price range, $550 to $575. You're starting to see these creep up into the 6 and 7 range pretty easily, but I'd say 600,000 is a pretty reasonable expectation in the $575 to $625 to $650 price range for most of the houses in Hillcrest Farms. You will find some exceptions, especially from the $650 to $725 price range as you get into those bigger houses, and especially if one has a pool or maybe a bigger lot on a corner, that kind of a thing. You'll find those unique corners or unique houses on those premium lots that might cost a bit more also. But I think for what you're getting size-wise, it's a real nice house for the money. But if you want a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot house, 4 or 5 bedroom, but big, a little bit bigger, but you don't want to spend, $800, $750, I think Hillcrest Farm can give you the bang for buck in the 6 to 7 price range, even low 7s, and get what you're looking for, maybe even a pool, but have accessibility to a lot of things in the area, but also not spending the $800 and $900 price range you might find in other areas in that size house. Now, I want to explain a concept here too, is that finished room over the garage, FROG. This is a big thing here in Virginia Beach or in the Hampton Roads area because this is a room that is over a garage. It is usually a bedroom, considered a bedroom, but it's a bigger, most likely bigger room, but maybe a more like a weirder shape. But it could be a bigger room or the biggest room in the house, which can be a positive or negative too, because while it can be a bedroom, it can often be the biggest bedroom, which means that if you see a house that has a FROG in it, or that has a 4 or 5 bedroom floor plan, and you see that room over the garage, that big window, for example, you might think, okay, that's a FROG. If there's a FROG in my house, that may not be a bedroom that I consider a traditional bedroom, which makes a big difference when it comes to having multiple kids. Who gets that room? Maybe nobody, because that person may have the biggest room, and how is that going to work? So maybe it becomes more of a playroom or a movie room or an office. Well, if that's the case, then you might think, well, it may not be a bedroom the way I see it, which means that it's one less bedroom than what I'm being told in the MLS or in the listing, which actually technically it is a bedroom, but it may not be a bedroom the way you might expect bedrooms to be, which may affect how you expect the floor plan to flow. So that's a big thing too, is that a lot of these houses have FROGs, and that FROG can affect your expectation of what that floor plan might feel like. Now, keeping that in mind, you are pretty close to a lot of shopping areas. For example, you're only a few minutes away from different shopping centers. For example, going over towards the Princess Anne Road area, it's Independence Boulevard, big shopping area over there. You're about 10 minutes away from there. Also, you got a Harris Teeter and more shopping center and strip mall areas near Lynn Haven Parkway and Indian River Road. So if you keep going through here, all up into Farrell Parkway, got strip malls here. You got more, shopping all up to Kempsville Road. There's a lot of shopping all through here. There's tons of shopping, grocery stores, different grocery stores, as well as restaurants. So you have a lot as you go further and further away from Hillcrest Farms. But you're not that far away from even the most essential. And of course, you're close to Greenbrier and Chesapeake. If you keep going the other direction, you're like 8, 10, 12 minutes away from the Chesapeake line going over towards Greenbrier. You're close to all that big shopping area over there. So you've got a lot that's not too far away from Hillcrest Farms. The weird part about it is it feels farther than it is because you live in an area that is drastically different than other parts that you're going to be driving to. So it feels like there's a separation between where you are and where you're going. But if you look at the map, drive time, it's not actually as far as it might seem. But to me, one of the biggest pieces is when you're in your house, what does it feel like? If you feel like you're in a country area and you don't want to be, you'll feel more isolated, even though you're not too far away from stuff. On the flip side, if you want to be in a country area and you pick Hillcrest Farms because of that, but you're also like 2-3 minutes away from more suburban areas and a lot more activity, it may not feel country enough for you. So it's all about what it feels like in your house. When you're sitting in your house and you're doing activities in your house, what does it feel like? Does it feel relaxed and rural? Do you like that or not? Does it feel more active? Does it feel busier? And if that answer is yes and you don't want it to be, you may not like that either. Now the school districts. You've got Lansdowne High School District, which is a pretty in-demand school district, and Lansdowne Middle, as well as Newcastle Elementary School, which you can check online. There's some high ranks for some of these schools, so it's not one of those that are the highest ranked. It also is, I still think, in a pretty in-demand school district for elementary, middle, and high school. So I think that brings a positive. Now, it's not Salem High School District, which I think is in the Salem area-ish. So just keep in mind that just check where the zoning or the school districting stops, so you make sure you know which school district you're going to, even if it's Hillcrest Farms or another neighborhood close to here, because this is right around where the school district line from Salem to Lansdowne High School District starts and stops. Now let me go into some more drawbacks to living here. I think specifically there's some news that's going to drastically affect living in Hillcrest Farms. I think it's worth mentioning big time. Now, if you look at the map again, I'm going to show you Elbow Road. You see Elbow Road right here. Indian River Road also. That connects all the way through, as well as Elbow Road goes all the way down through to Chesapeake. This area has 2-lane roads, and it has been that way for forever. I mean, it was country area for a long time, until neighborhoods were built around it. Well, this has been a problem for traffic for a long time too, where there's a lot of backups, especially on these 2 intersections here, especially Elbow and Indian River Road here and Elbow and Indian River Road right here. These 2 are creating a lot of problems, and the windiness of Elbow, for example, over here, as well as over closer to Indian River Road and Elbow over here, this whole area has been causing a lot of problems for traffic because of the lack of lanes, 2 lanes, number one, but also it has ditches on the signs as well. And so the driving at night has been a problem, especially on Indian River Road and Elbow Road, going into Chesapeake, but also around Hillcrest Farms. The reason this matters is because in 2024, the city approved the expansion of Elbow Road and Indian River Road, not only going from Elbow Road over towards Salem, all the way through, towards Indian River Road here, but also all the way from there up to Independence Boulevard as well. This whole section here is being expanded. This whole section is going to be expanded from 2 to 4 lanes. You'll have bike paths along the sides. It's going to drastically change the functionality and the maneuverability of the residents and people driving all through the area in this section close to Hillcrest Farms. The positive here is that if you live in Hillcrest Farms, that's going to drastically change the ability to get in and out of the neighborhood because the lanes are going to increase, but also the bike paths. It's just going to be like the T intersections, for example, and as well as just getting back and forth, from work. Rush hour is going to be a lot easier. The traffic flow is going to be so much easier getting in and out. That's a big deal here. Now, the drawback is that there will be more cars coming through here. The increase going on the Indian River Road, Elbow Road, with the increase in the functionality of the area comes more cars, which means more activity, which means the feeling you may have wanted in Hillcrest Farms may not be there to the same degree because of the expansion of the roads. No other drawbacks to that point, that same functionality driving point. You notice while you're close to interstate, you're not very close. So it's going to take you, for example, if you're stationed at the Norfolk Navy base, for example, or Little Creek, or any other base that's not Dam Neck or Oceana, it's going to take you a while just to get to the interstate, and then from there get to your base. So it's going to be a 30+ minute drive from Hillcrest Farms. If not way longer if there's traffic, 40, 50 or more minutes. Just check on Google and check those times differences as far as what the traffic looks like at rush hour or off times and all that. So that's a big deal too. Now, getting to the beach isn't easy either. It's still going to take you 20, 25 at least minutes plus to get to Sandbridge or getting to the oceanfront. It's not easy to get to the beach. Another drawback is if you want brick houses, there are some brick facing houses in the neighborhood, but there aren't a ton of them relative to the amount of houses in the neighborhood. So it's kind of a drawback, as you might see if you don't like vinyl. There are more houses vinyl here than there are brick facing. So if you have any other questions about relocating to Hillcrest Farms or anywhere else in Virginia Beach or through Hampton Roads to Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, all through Newport News, Hampton, Williamsburg, let me know. It's what I do. I love helping people relocate to the area. So if you have any questions, I have my contact information in the description. You can email me, call me, or text me. I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. If you want to learn more about the Virginia Beach area, moving here, what it's like to live here, or other areas, I have more videos here you can click on to learn more about the area and get more in-depth information that I don't really think you can find anywhere else. And I'll see you on that video.